During the family reunion, my grandmother said, "Will everyone who actually graduated from college please stand up?" My grandmother stood at the head of the table during our annual family reunion dinner and tapped her wine glass with a fork until everyone went quiet. She's 86 years old and still sharp as a knife, the kind of woman who remembers every detail you've ever told her. "I have a question for everyone here," she announced. "Will everyone who actually graduated from college please stand up?" People laughed nervously and started rising from their seats. My uncle Richard stood first, puffing his chest out. My cousin Danielle stood next, then my brother Kevin, then about 15 other family members. I stayed seated because I dropped out sophomore year to help my mom when she got sick. But then my grandmother held up her hand. I said actually graduated, with a real degree, from a real college, not a diploma mill, not someone else's degree you've been lying about for years. The laughter stopped completely. My uncle Richard's smile froze on his face. He looked around the room and slowly sat back down. My cousin Danielle hesitated, her hand gripping the edge of the table. Then she lowered herself into her chair. One by one, people started sitting. My brother Kevin stayed standing for a moment, staring at our grandmother, then dropped into his seat so hard the chair scraped against the floor. Within 30 seconds, only 6 people remained standing in a room of 40 family members. I watched my Aunt Patricia sit down, even though I'd been to her graduation ceremony at State University back in 2003. My cousin Jerome sat, even though his law degree was framed in his office. Something else was happening here. Grandma wasn't asking about graduation. She was asking about something deeper. My grandmother walked slowly around the table, her cane tapping against the hardwood floor. 6 people standing. 6 honest people in this entire family. She stopped behind my uncle Richard. "Richard, you've told everyone for 30 years that you have a business degree from Northwestern. I called Northwestern last month. They have no record of you ever attending." His face went red. "Mama, that was a long time ago. Records get lost." She moved to my cousin Danielle. "You've been introducing yourself as Dr. Danielle Foster for 5 years. You attended 1 semester of community college and dropped out." Danielle started crying. "I was going to go back and finish. I just needed people to take me seriously." My grandmother's voice stayed calm and cold. "You lied to get a job that required a doctorate. You've been committing fraud." She continued around the table, exposing person after person. My brother Kevin claimed he graduated from a prestigious engineering program, but actually bought a fake diploma online for $200. My Aunt Patricia did graduate, but her degree was revoked 3 years later when they discovered she'd plagiarized her entire thesis. Jerome passed the bar exam but lied about having an undergraduate degree, which made his law license invalid. The room filled with sobbing and angry whispers. People tried to defend themselves, claiming everyone exaggerates their credentials, that it doesn't really matter if you can do the job anyway. My uncle Richard stood up and pointed at me. "What about her? She didn't even finish college. Why isn't she getting called out?" My grandmother turned to look at me. "Stand up, sweetheart." I stood slowly, confused. "My granddaughter here dropped out of college during her sophomore year because I got diagnosed with cancer, and her mother had to quit her job to take care of me," she said. "She worked 3 jobs to support her mother and me, postponing her own education to keep our family afloat. She never lied about it, never pretended, never bought a fake diploma to impress anyone." She pulled an envelope from her pocket and handed it to me. "This is a check for $80,000. That's the education fund I've been saving for you since you were born." I was waiting to see who in this family actually deserved help. The room went completely silent. My hands shook as I held the envelope. She turned back to the family. "The rest of you have been lying for years, stealing opportunities from people who actually earned their degrees, taking jobs from qualified candidates, teaching your children that fraud is acceptable." My uncle Richard tried to apologize, saying he'd been young and stupid and it spiraled out of control. My grandmother cut him off and told him she'd already contacted his employer with proof he'd lied on his application, along with everyone else's employers, professional boards, and the institutions they'd falsified documents from. By the end of that week, 6 family members had lost their jobs, and 2 were facing criminal charges for fraud.